All right, welcome back. Today we're jumping right back into our series on the divergent mind. We're going to be looking at perception, what shapes it, and maybe most importantly, what happens when our reality can actually be, well, altered.
So let me ask you a question. Just look around you for a second. The screen you're looking at, the room you're in, you think you're seeing it exactly as it is, right? A perfect copy of reality? But what if I told you that's not how it works at all? That your reality is far more personal and far more constructed than you think? You see, there's this idea called constructed perception. And it basically says your brain isn't just a passive camera recording everything. No, it's more like a superpowered reality engine. It's constantly taking in all this raw data from your eyes and ears, and then it builds. It uses your memories, your beliefs, everything you've ever experienced to assemble what you see right now as reality. Okay, so if your brain is the chef cooking up reality, what are the ingredients? Let's get into the building blocks that make your version of the world completely unique to you. It pretty much boils down to three huge factors that are always mixing together: your own biology, the culture you live in, and whatever you happen to be feeling at that moment. Each one is a crucial piece of the puzzle. And this is where it gets really fascinating. Think of it like this. Your biology, that's your unique brain wiring, it sets the stage. It determines what sensory information you can even receive in the first place. Then your culture comes in and hands you a script. I mean, the very language you speak gives you labels for some things and not others, which literally directs your attention. And finally, your emotions, they're the lighting director. Feeling afraid or happy can actually physically change how you perceive a situation or what you even focus on.
So for all of human history, those ingredients, biology, culture, emotion, that's been the whole story. But that's all about to change. We are now stepping into a totally new era where technology is about to open out a brand new frontier of perception itself. And the key to this new frontier is a technology called a brain-computer interface, or BCI. We're talking about devices that create a direct line of communication between a human brain and a machine, basically giving us a way to read thoughts and intentions. So how in the world does a BCI work? Well, you can kind of break it down into 3 steps. First, some kind of device has to detect the brain's electrical signals, the neurons firing. Then, and this is the tricky part, powerful algorithms have to decode what those signals actually mean. Is the person thinking about moving their arm, or are they picturing a word? And finally, that decoded thought gets translated into an action, letting someone do things like control a prosthetic limb or type on a screen, just by thinking. Now, this kind of tech, it's incredible. But it also puts us at a major crossroads. It's a classic double-edged sword. It offers us the chance for unbelievable enhancement, but also the risk of terrifying manipulation. I mean, just look at the 2 paths in front of us. On one hand, the promise is just staggering. Imagine learning faster than ever before, or computers that adapt to you instantly, or even overcoming physical limitations like paralysis. But then there's the other side, the peril. What happens when this tech is used to change how you see the world for someone else's profit? What happens to privacy when your thoughts aren't private anymore? Do we risk losing what it even means to have an authentic experience? And let's be clear, this isn't some distant science fiction anymore. This is happening. So we have to start asking some really tough questions right now about how we're going to handle this power. This is about protecting the very integrity of our own realities. It all comes down to a few core things we have to figure out, and fast. First, privacy. Who owns the data coming directly from your brain? Who can sell it? Who can see it? Second, autonomy. How do you make sure your choices are still your own when they can be influenced in ways you can't even detect? And maybe the biggest one, reality integrity. What happens when the line between what's real and what's fed to you just disappears? And that really leaves us with one huge final question we have to wrestle with. The power to read and eventually to write information directly to the human brain is coming. And it forces us to ask, if your personal reality can be edited, who do you trust to hold the pen? Today's explainer was based on the Divergent Mind, Part 2, with the story and visuals created by John E. Montreal and licensed under Creative Commons.